We thought we solved this problem. We just got an AV upgrade. Clearly, we made it worse. So give us a second. We apologize.
I can hear you now. I'm good.
You can hear
It
us
was
now?
because yes, I can. It's because you guys are muted.
Okay. Okay. So let's try it again. See if you can hear that. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear our chair when she starts again?
Okay,
Can I get a roll call, please?
I can hear.
Okay, you can hear.
Right. Commissioner Condit?
Here.
I'm calling roll.
Here.
Commissioner Del Nero?
Here.
Commissioner Johnson? Commissioner Katchel?
Here.
And Chairperson Otero.
Here.
Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Moving on to conflict of interest declaration. Is there anyone on the commission that would like to declare a conflict of interest? And sorry, just to confirm Gary can hear us.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Citizens communications. While the Planning Commission welcomes and encourages participation in Planning Commission meetings, adopted rules allow no more than 5 minutes for expression of non-agenda items. Matters under the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public. However, California law prohibits the Planning Commission from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Planning Commission. Citizens are entitled to address the Planning Commission on any agenda item subject to the 5-minute provision. Is there anyone who would like to speak on any matter not included on the agenda? If so, please come to the podium and state your name for the record.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. My name's John Warren. I'm from the city of Sirius. I'm not sure on how the Zoom process is, but if we can't hear Mr. Condit, then I don't see how the meeting can proceed. He has to be able to speak so that we can hear him, ask questions and so forth. So until the Zoom thing gets fixed, I don't think this meeting should proceed. Thank
We
you.
have a quorum, Chair, so really Commissioner Condit doesn't need to be involved so we can continue to have the meeting. We may have to ask him to not vote this evening. He made an effort to be online, but we have a quorum and we can hold this meeting.
Okay, thank you. Since we have a quorum, we can go ahead and move forward with holding the meeting. We know that he's on the meeting, but we can still continue. Is there anyone on Zoom who would like to speak?
I see no hands raised at this time.
Thank you. Moving on to consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be enacted by one motion. If discussion is required, that particular item will be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered separately. Is there anyone on the commission that would like an item pulled for further discussion? Is there anyone in the public that would like a consent item pulled for further discussion? On the agenda, there's items listed under consent calendar. So if there's any items that you would like to pull from that part of the agenda for further discussion, you can step up to the podium.
Item 4 and item 5.
Thank you.
Those two items are on a public hearing, so if there's items 1, 2, or 3 that anybody from the public would wish to pull, now would be the time. And then when we open the public hearing, we will hear the 2 items on the public hearing calendar. Ma'am, can you come to the podium, please, and ask your question?
My name is Celia Cantu. I live on 3200. I got this letter saying to come to the meeting because it's may affect my property. Are you going to address that on today's meeting?
Where is your property again?
3200 Crown View Drive, according to this
That's-
letter.
It looks like that's probably the items that are for the public hearing coming up shortly.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Are we okay with the consent calendar? Any items to be pulled? I think you're in the clear.
Do we have any, can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent calendar 1, 2, and 3.
I'll make second of that.
May we get a roll call, please?
Yes. Commissioner Del Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Catchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Condit,
Aye.
For the record, he voted aye.
okay. Commissioner Johnson, and Chairperson Otero.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to public hearings. Tonight, we have item number 4, 23-34, tentative subdivision map proposal for a tentative subdivision map to subdivide a 3.25 acre parcel into 16 residential parcels at 1947 and a half Hackett Road. Endergy S Tour Construction, Inc. is the applicant. CEQA status, adoption of a mitigated negative declaration, required action, adopt PC resolution number 24-15, and adopt PC resolution number 24-16. Senior Planner Teddy Hernandez, would you please present the staff report?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. This presentation is for the Hackett Road subdivision, application number 23-34, tentative subdivision map. Application 23-34 is a tentative subdivision map to subdivide a 3.25 acre parcel into 16 multifamily residential lots. The project is located on the north side of Hackett Road, approximately 688 feet west of Central Avenue. This is the aerial vicinity map showing the project area. The project site is zoned medium density residential. The project site has a general plan designation of medium density residential. The surrounding land uses include residential to the east, west, and south, and industrial to the north. This is the tentative map that shows the proposed 16 multifamily lots. Staff recommends to approve the Planning Commission Resolution PC 24-15, certifying the mitigated negative declaration prepared for the tentative subdivision map, and approve 23-34 tentative subdivision map subject to the findings and conditions contained in the attached draft resolution PC 24-13. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Teddy. Does the commission have any questions or comments on this item? Does Commissioner Condit have any questions? Just,
No.
He said no, he didn't have any questions.
okay, thank you. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the chambers that would like to comment on this item? If so, please come to the podium and state your name for the record.
Good evening. My name is Harinder Toor. I am the owner of the construction company who's actually the applicant, Energy That's Through Construction, Inc. Um, I've been after this property since 2005, only to get rejections from the past owners, and tried again and again and again. And I've had my eyes and hopes set on this property for quite a bit of time now. And this is how the universe works, is that somehow this property got liquidated to somebody else, and the guy was out of state, and he's having issues, and said, you know what? There's people dumping on this property, and et cetera, et cetera. And he asked the neighbor to, which was the property adjacent where the truck lot is. And he said, you know what, keep an eye on it for me. And number two, if you know anybody who wants to buy it, let me know too. He's like, I know the perfect person, call Harinder. And he immediately called me from out of New York, and I said, okay, I'll take it. He asked me, what would you willing to pay for? I said, what is your price? He made an offer. I said, okay, I'll take it. We paid cash for the property. Basically went down to the city and basically put down what the guidelines were. And we conformed to what the city guidelines are, and are looking forward to putting this project together. These are going to be essentially 16 duplexes. So a total of 32 units. Affordable housing is the game that I'm in. As some of you know, that I've actually built luxury homes, which I've actually got out of the market in 2007 and 8 due to the housing crisis. And now I'm in the market of building affordable homes, which the city desperately needs. I'm open to address any concerns, comments with commissioners, our staff, and our general public. I wish to turn over the floor to anybody that would like any questions addressed.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Tour? Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item?
Hello, my name is Leandro Cantu. I live at 3200 Crown View Drive. The map that we received did not state of how many footage of property they want to take away from our land. So I don't know if it's a foot or 2 feet or 6 feet, 10 feet or what. Didn't specify. So we want to know what is the actual footage, and why are they taking away from the homes that live there? Why don't they take it from the empty lot, from the church parking lot, instead of invading our privacy? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Teddy.
Sir, the notification was sent out showing you that the property that's completely vacant currently is going to be developed. No property is being taken from any of the existing homeowners right now. It's just a radius. It isn't an exact line. So I apologize if that caused confusion, but it is just that vacant property near your houses. It doesn't have anything to do with your properties. We just wanted to let you know that there's a subdivision being proposed back there. Yes.
I'm sorry, sir, could you step up to the podium so we can hear you? Thank you.
Are they going to be setting up a barrier wall to divide from the land and our property?
There will be a good neighbor fence between backyards, yes. The requirement is between residential to residential. So their project is a residential project, your home is a residential unit. So the only requirement between residentially zoned to residentially zoned is a good neighbor fence, should you wish to have one, which most people want. We don't require in the code that you separate yards by fences, but typically people want fences separating their yards. So they will just most likely, we haven't discussed this with them, but likely if the fence needs repair, build a new fence. It won't be a double fence. You know, rodents, critters, weeds get in between a double fence. So they're either going to replace the existing fence that abuts the existing residential units, or they will repair any fence that needs to be, but it will be maintained a residential fence between the two properties.
It's just that we don't want to get stuck with the cost of building a fence. And that's the builder's problem, not ours.
No, we wouldn't make, we would request that the builder build a new fence at their cost if it needs to be replaced and it's not in a good condition.
Is there anyone else that would like to step up to the podium?
As a mom, I'm Celia, I think I already talked. As a mom, I know the developer will bring up the land and ask they're really tilling it or making it horrible. I constantly have to have what's it called, the Clark pest. Are they building like a net between so the critters won't go? How are they gonna protect our home from being the dust coming to our areas and all these critters? Because it's been there for 23 years undeveloped. And the poor man just said he tried to develop it in 2005. It's been rejected, but I mean, I can't live without Clark, but Clark can't support the amount of animals that are going to come over through that field. So are you going to build like in the construction, like plastic or something that would stop it? Because it's hazardous to our health as we get older, you know. It's hazardous to our children, our grandchildren too.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Good evening, Commissioners. John Warren from the City of Ceres. Knowing that this project probably meets all the guidelines of the zoning requirements and things like that, I can pretty much guess how the vote's going to go, okay? I do think there's some things that you folks, as commissioners, and with your influence on the council or direction, should consider the fact that when I read through this, it said they're going to put 16 residential parcels. That indicated to me there was going to be 16 residences added to this community, not 32. I didn't find anything in here that talked about duplexes. Now, I may have missed it in my reading, okay? But instead of adding 16 new sewer lines to the community, they're going to add 32 more sewer lines to the community. Our wastewater treatment plant is at capacity right now. We're sending 1 million gallons north every day and 750,000 gallons south every day. We don't have the capacity to add more sewer lines to our system. We don't have the capacity from our police department to police 32 more residences, and our fire district doesn't have the capacity to protect 32 more residences. Our infrastructure in this city is kaput. And these things should be taken into consideration before any other housing or businesses are added to our existing system. And nobody seems to talk about that. I know that's not something that you folks up here tonight actually do take into consideration, but it's something that you should think about because it's your community too. And these added things are just going to stress additional cost. Until that new wastewater treatment plant gets built, there should be some surcharges and extra funding added to all new projects. Unfortunately, for the nice contractors and the people doing the development, it's going to be some extra expenses. But as we know, in the end, those would all pass on to the homeowner that purchased these properties down the line. And duplexes, a lot of times, are rental properties. People buy those to rent versus buying them as a home to live in. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just for the record, page 5 of the staff report, third paragraph reads, quote, analysis, the proposed underlying development is proposing 16 duplexes for a total of 32 units, unquote. It's in the staff report.
If I could just take 2 minutes to address these two, or a few concerns. The bugs I cannot mitigate. However, the dust we will, because we have to follow state guidelines and city guidelines for the dust. No land definitely will not be taken away from your property. We definitely will implement a good neighbor fence on each of the parcels. And that parcel, before going into escrow, we got the city guidelines, and now we're actually adhering to city guidelines and the planning commission's regulations on that parcel. So, sir, it'll be 16 sewer lines that will be connected rather than 32. And basically, we are paying to play. So essentially, we're paying roughly about $70,000 in permit costs to build on those each individual parcels. So hopefully I've answered all your questions. This is an affordable project, city that desperately needs this project. City hasn't built anything like this in quite some time. And then another concern that some people have addressed to me privately is saying that, hey, what's to say that we approve your set of plans and you don't get the chance to build? Currently, I have north of about between $15 to $20 million worth of property that I'm actually waiting to sell and dispose of in the current market. Janet Yellen, our United States Secretary, has addressed to Congress that she's worried about commercial paper coming back to regional banks that can actually default these banks, thus putting pressure on the United States government to bail out these regional banks. I don't know if you've been seeing the current climate in the newspaper, which is we're having deflationary action coming into effect, which is thus resulting in the Federal Reserve hopefully lowering interest rates that this market desperately needs in September, if not November, thus driving builders to build more and also commercial paper not going back to the banks. So I think the stars are lining up right for big builders, regional builders, small builders to start building again. And I know one, Mr. Surjit Mudley, I think, or Surjit Singh, the project that was approved on the corner of Roding and Mitchell, he's already started his construction already. But however, I can't speak for everybody else. We are looking forward to building this, and we will be building it with cash rather than relying on a bank to fund this project. Hopefully I've addressed comments in public and private forum now. Thank you very much.
We do have a question for you.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, that's way over my head. I gotta admit, but more relevant perhaps to the site itself is the flag lot
Yes,
that you've got. What are your plans for the back of that? It's kind of an awkward situation.
it threw in an ADU, so a 750 square feet ADU, then that flag area. So that'll be merged into one lot, essentially. So I have a duplex and an ADU, 750 square feet ADU in the back. So I have 3 units on top of that. So rather than being just a vacant piece of property,
Yeah.
we will have an additional unit that will be on that parcel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good question, though. Very good question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Yeah, I'd like to know if there have been any studies on the impact of traffic in that area. Hackett cannot handle that much traffic. It's a little 2-lane road. As it is right now, where we have hard time. People drive crazy through there. They drive fast. There's, is the police prepared for all this as well? Because I mean, like I say, they're going to be a lot more traffic coming around our street as well as the other entrance of where they're going to be. How is it going to impact the fire department coming in and out as well?
Thank you.
Commissioners, I can help with that. So was there an actual traffic study done for this one individual parcel of land in these units? No. But when we look at traffic studies, generally they're done in an EIR when things come into the city under annexation or for some other purpose. So something like this, it's zoned medium density residential. There has been at some point in time a traffic study done, but for this individual parcel specifically, no. And with regard to Hackett and the traffic that it creates, you know, the roads, while they are they are in need of repair, they can still handle that. And so that's something that we do look at as we move into these things. And we look at that from a city aspect also, because it's not just this subdivision that is actually creating trips on that road. It's multiple subdivisions that are actually creating the trips on the road. So
Thank you. Is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak?
I see no hands raised at this time.
Okay. Oh, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Beltran, I just had a question. I just wanted to confirm, is this part on the eastern side of Hackett where the infrastructure or the sidewalks are going to be installed that was approved at the last council meeting? I think we're adjusting the roads and the gutters there now for traffic. Is that correct?
I would have to look at it without a map in front of me.
Okay. I just thought it was approved at the last council meeting that from Hackett
Yes.
down almost to that down, I think just past Crown View, almost to Ferris.
Yes, I believe it's part of the Central
So
and
the
Hackett
roads are going to be
corridor.
upgraded.
So we will put curb, gutter, and sidewalk in a lot of that area. We will infill it. So yes, that type of stuff will be improved in the area. You know, nothing specifically on this subdivision, but yes, in that corridor, we are improving sidewalk, curb, and gutter. The roads are not going to be redone with that project. This is just really a pedestrian project, but it will put curb and gutter in so that way it better facilitates traffic.
Thank you. Did we receive any emails on this item?
No, we did not.
The public hearing is now closed. I'll bring this item back to the commission for discussion or questions. So for me, it's nice to hear that you're considering the affordable homes and having, at first I did think they were just going to be residential single homes, but it looks like, you know, they are duplexes. And I think that duplexes are sometimes needed in a community, especially when purchasing homes and things like that is expensive as it is. So I appreciate that.
The project is consistent with the multiple family zoning and general plan designations. It's consistent with the proposed density is about 9.85 dwelling units per acre, which does meet the requirements of that zone. In other words, it's consistent with our zoning, it's consistent with our general plan. Traffic impacts were indicated and studied as indicated earlier as a part of the environmental review for the plan itself. And so with that, I'll make a motion that we approve Planning Commission Resolution PC 24-15, certifying the mitigated negative declaration prepared for the tentative subdivision map, and approve Planning Commission Resolution PC 24-16, approving a tentative subdivision map to subdivide a 3.25 acre parcel into 16 residential parcels at 1947.5 Hackett Road.
I'll second that motion.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Condit,
Aye.
Could you try again, Commissioner?
Aye.
Commissioner Condit,
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Condit
Yes.
said yes. Commissioner Del Nero,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson, Commissioner Catchell,
Aye.
and Chairperson Otero.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0.
Moving on to item number 5, 24-07, site plan approval Proposal for a site plan approval to construct a 2,594 square foot Pollo Campero restaurant with a drive-through window, 25 parking stalls, and landscaping at 1355 East Hatch Road. Pollo Campero Mark Architects is the applicant. B2, infill development projects, required action to adopt PC resolution number 24-17. Senior Planner Teddy Hernandez, will you please present the staff report?
Good evening, Chair and Commissioners. This presentation is for the Pollo Campero application number 24-07, site plan approval. 24-07 is a site plan approval to construct a 2,619 square foot Pollo Campero restaurant with a drive-through, 25 parking stalls, and landscaping. The project is located on the north side of East Hatch Road, approximately 560 feet east of Herndon Avenue. Herndon Road. This is the aerial vicinity map showing the project area. The project site is zoned Plan Community 18, and the project site has a general plan designation of community commercial. The surrounding properties are zoned community commercial as well. The site plan shows the 2,619 square foot Pollo Campero restaurant with the drive-through, the parking stalls, and the landscaping. Staff recommends to make the determination that the project is exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines section 15332 infill development projects, and approve 24-07 site plan approval subject to the findings and conditions contained in the attached draft resolution PC 24-17. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions or comments on this item? Okay. The public hearing is now open. Is there anyone in the chambers that would like to comment on this item?
Good evening, Commissioners. Again, John Warren, City of Sirius. Regardless of what I have to say, probably it's not going to influence your decision in the matter because obviously this project is in compliance with all the zoning regulations and the general plan for the City of Sirius. But here again, just earlier in the year, there was some discussion about putting 15 gas stations in a row or 15 fast food businesses in a row. Or whatever. What we're doing is we're putting another chicken place right next to a chicken place, right next to a Burger King, and it's across the street from another chicken place. You got 3 chicken places there that I could stand in the middle of the street, throw rocks and hit them. And I don't think that's the direction that the meeting was intended when you met with the city council in regards to these type of businesses. So it's like I said, it doesn't have anything to do probably with what I feel should be there. I don't care if they want to put 1,500 chicken places there. What'll happen is they'll probably all go out of business and we'll be looking at empty buildings. But I do think that the city and the planning people should have the wisdom to look at the number of new sewer lines that are being added, the number of new businesses that are going to need protection from our police department and our fire protection district, which is in Modesto. Our infrastructure can't support what we want to do, and that needs to be corrected. You don't build a house out in the middle of the field and then come along and decide how you're going to get there and build the road afterward and all the other things. You put the infrastructure in place first. You need to have an adequate police department. You need to have an adequate fire department. You need to have an adequate wastewater treatment plant. And all those things aren't present right now in our atmosphere, in our city. And I think those things need to be taken into consideration other than just saying, oh, it meets the requirements for zoning and it meets the requirements for whatever, and vote yes for it. I think we need to have a little more thought in how our city is going to progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Go ahead.
Hello, my name's Irene Ortiz. I'm here on behalf of Mayor Lopez, Mayor of Ceres. He's currently at a parent-student conference, so he's unable to attend, but I'm going to read something that was sent to me earlier. I'm here to address the item before you. The proposal represents exactly what Mayor Lopez has sought to prevent in our city's development. The mayor took proactive steps by holding a workshop with both the city council and the planning commission, your guys' selves, by holding, sorry, I lost my thought. To provide a clear vision for the future of Ceres. Unfortunately, this workshop occurred after a controversial decision was made to allow a gas station next to an existing gas station, which is not the direction we want our city to take. We do not want Ceres to become the city known as the city of gas stations. Now the situation is repeating itself with a different product. We are faced with the potential placement of a Pollo Campero net restaurant next to an existing Raising Cane's chicken restaurant. Mayor Lopez specifically inquired about providing alternative locations for this restaurant, suggesting District 2, where there was a clear lack of food options. These alternatives were presented, but the business still declined. On behalf of Mayor Lopez, I oppose the establishment of this business in its preceded location. Should this decision be approved, it is highly likely that the matter will be appealed and brought back to the City Council. If that happens, there is a strong possibility that this establishment will not be allowed to open up at this location. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Is there anyone on Zoom?
I see no hands raised at this time.
And did we receive any emails for this item?
No, we did not.
Thank you. The public hearing is now closed. I'll bring this item back for commission discussion and questions.
I have a question for staff. Could you please tell me in detail what PC 18 includes or permits? In other words, this is on PC 18. There's a list of uses allowed in that. What are those uses?
Given the nature of the previous users on site, it was likely just a commercial lot. PCs have been used in the city of Ceres rather loosely. They don't necessarily define different standards in the existing municipal code. So given the general plan designation, the prior uses, the current uses, it's safe to say that commercial uses were part of the plan development.
I guess I'm getting back to, maybe I'm using the wrong terminology, but when this came before us a couple of years ago, when we wanted to repurpose, as the gentleman indicated, we wanted to repurpose the old Kmart, there were several uses permitted on the property. There was a couple of maps, I think, that went with it. And is this part of what was presented to us at this time, or is this something different? That's what I'm getting at. I assumed that was PC 18. If it's not, I apologize, but we just saw this a couple of years ago. This isn't something that's just come out of nowhere. Raising Cane's came out of that.
Correct. So during
cetera.
that, what you're thinking was an approval for the entire site,
Yes.
which included a Dutch Bros that's already opening, the public storage for the old Kmart, and doing an addition up by the Dutch Bros. On the corner of Hatch and Herndon is going to be a gas station, Raising Cane's. And this particular parcel and the parcel behind it were already designated for fast food restaurants. It's just the tenants weren't determined at the time. So only a site plan approval was required for aesthetics and everything to make sure parking and all of that. So the property owners found a tenant, the tenant liked the location, it fits for what they want to do. We did offer other locations. They did not want to move. So it's,
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. Thank you.
Right.
Another question. Is this going to have a new curb cut onto Hatch Road, or is this an existing driveway? I couldn't really tell.
So
I can explain that.
I'll help on that one. So we actually have a sewer lift station that sits just to the east of the proposed Pollo Campero building. And so with that is what the engineering and public works department said, was that we needed the client, Pollo Campero, to put in a driveway there only for access to the sewer lift station so that city forces can actually maintain the sewer lift station without having to drive over their landscape or anything like that. That will actually have a sliding gate
Yeah,
that will block that because we do not want traffic going straight into the drive-through essentially of Pollo Campero from Hatch Road.
okay, well, that's what I was getting at. Thank you. So you've looked at this in detail then.
Yes, sir.
And just a comment in general, when we see these projects come before us, and I'm not sure everybody understands, these have previously been sent to city departments, to the fire district, to the law enforcement people. They have all had the opportunity to review not only the plans, but each project that comes before them individually. And they have had the opportunity to comment on them. If they don't have the service capability, they have the ability to say so. Same with school districts, utility districts, anybody else that might have a say in a project. They all see this stuff before it ever gets to the planning commissions. So maybe when you just review it, you don't think, well, what about our sewer situation? It needs expansion, or what about water, or whatever it may be. The people that are in charge of those have reviewed each and every project, and they get back to the staff. And if the staff finds issues, then they will be presented or dealt with before they get to us, or presented to us if they can't be resolved. So that's just kind of an aside from me. Anyway, I guess I'm done.
So I had looked this up before the meeting, and seems like this place is down south mostly. We don't have any in Northern California, except I think San Francisco. There's like some digital mobile ordering. One of my concerns is that, will this place make it in series? Is it going to be something that people are going to enjoy, or will it end up vacant? We already have enough businesses that end up leaving series. So could it potentially become an area that goes empty and now we can't fill it with another fast food restaurant?
As our economic development manager can attest, when he's trying to court new businesses, there's extensive market research that goes into before a business decides to locate somewhere. So while they're, I guess, hedging their bets, they've also done research to know if this area hits their demographics, hits their target market. They know far more about series than we do, probably. So if they're choosing to locate a store here, they've probably have a pretty good idea that they'll be successful. And is there a chance, will there be another worldwide pandemic, potentially something that could derail their market research? But typically stores know more about the location they want to go into than we do. So I feel like if they've picked this location, they know there's an adjacent chicken place. It's clearly not deterring them. They may offer a different type of chicken. So it sounds like they welcome the competition. Sounds like they're still going to be able to make their margins despite an adjacent chicken store. So I would say they're pretty confident that they wouldn't open here unless they knew they were going to make it. But I guess nobody knows the future for sure. But
now you probably hit the nail on the head when you said that, because I've asked the same question. Because we've got across the street, we have 2 tire stores back to back. And I think our question was, do we need 2 tire stores back to back? Well, I asked the same question a couple of years ago or a year ago, and I got the same answer you said. They do their research, and I don't know the exact answer. If we do, we probably wouldn't be sitting here. We'd be making a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I really don't know.
I think there's a couple ways to look at it. The Hatch Road corridor serves obviously Ceres, those of us that live here and shop there or shop at restaurants or eat whatever we want to do there. But it also functions, I think, similarly. When you travel, you go to a freeway interchange and you will find a half a dozen fast food restaurants, 3 or 4 service stations, all different companies. They're all in the same location because there's an economy to them to attract people, as opposed to, say, for example, one sitting all by itself may not get people's attention. And perhaps, as the staff told us, the marketing people look into this and they decided maybe it's to their benefit to put them around others, instead of maybe if one of us looks at it and say, well, 3 chicken restaurants is too many. Yeah, maybe it is. On the other hand, the marketing people think, well, 3 chicken restaurants means that they're going to look at us, just like when you travel, you get off the freeway. And that's what people do here. This is a major freeway interchange in addition to a local shopping area. So it's kind of a hybrid of uses there. And maybe that's why we're seeing the proliferation that we are. My concern is, I know we had the meeting earlier in the year about whether it be service stations or fast food or whatever, but we've also, and the reason I asked about the zoning is if we're going to disapprove something or not approve something, there needs to be grounds in the ordinance and in our plans to do so. You can't just arbitrarily say, well, we don't like business A, B, C. We would rather have X, Y, Z. We can't do that without the tools in the zoning code and in the zoning ordinance and in particular, this particular property, for this property, say, no, you can't put more fast food restaurants there because we don't want them. Well, unfortunately, right now, the zone for this property says you can put more fast food restaurants there. This applicant came in and met with the city in good faith, put forth a proposal to do that, and that's what we see before us. So as an individual, we may or may not think it's a great idea, but do we have the tools to say no without some overriding consideration that there's an adverse impact or something along those lines? I'm not sure that we do. That's where I have to come from. And that's my background and training. And I'm an old man and I'm just, running out the string here. But whether I think it's a great idea or not, I don't think I have the tool or the authority to say, no, we can't approve this. And I'm not sure the city council does either, with all due respect, until they have a general plan or a zoning ordinance which gives them that authority. We've got city attorneys listening to this. I assume they can back that up or disagree with me, whatever they want to do. But until those tools exist, we can't just arbitrarily say no. And I think that's frustration for the audience. It's frustration for decision makers as well. So
That's a good point. And I just have a question for city staff. This is obviously going to be fast food in that area. Is there anything that could be included later where somehow it's decided what type of fast food, whether it's like not like Dutch Bros, we already have one, but can it be specific or is it just fast food, whatever that definition is? And it can be any type of restaurant.
I mean, are you asking, can we define in the code what type of fast food?
What type of restaurant we want to see there when it comes to fast food? Like, trying to think of.
Yeah, our attorneys
Jack in the
unmuted
Boxes.
themselves. I'm not sure we can hear them. So I'm going to venture to say to put that specificity in the zoning ordinance would probably infringe on some rights. I'd like him to be able to speak, Josh. I don't know if you're going to be able
Yeah,
to.
can you hear me? Leah, can you hear me?
I don't know if you're trying to say something either, Josh.
Oh. I am speaking.
We can't hear Josh, but I'm going to go ahead and go out on a limb here. So that kind of specificity would probably have to be a policy decision that would have to come down from council. If we are going to say we're not going to allow certain type of food products, you can say in Petaluma, they have a moratorium on gas stations. That is a policy decision your council can make, but it's a policy that only council can make. That does not live in the zoning ordinance. It's more of a policy decision. So I think without consulting with council, to be able to say you can restrict in the zoning code specific food uses or specific types, it's not something that can go into the zoning ordinance. It would have to be a policy decision of the council one day to say, we no longer want X type of fast foods. And then I feel like that would open us up to some challenges, rights to, be able to open up a business that you want in the city. I think that would be pretty sticky. And I'm sorry, Josh, I'm hoping you agree, but we cannot hear you. But
Leah, can you hear me?
I'm erring on the side of saying you probably can't get that specific. The things we focus on from zoning is land use, public safety, site circulation, noise. We regulate noise. We regulate environmental impacts. But as far as specific types of businesses, to say we can have tire shop A but not tire shop B's, or you can only have 6 in the city, I believe that would be a policy level decision from your council.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or concerns? Anything from Commissioner Condit?
We have
No
three people I do
questions.
want to know. I think one is the applicant, their hand raised on Zoom, but they all raised their hands after the public hearing was closed. I don't know if you want to give them an opportunity to try to speak. I don't know how it's going to work on Zoom, even if they can. But they didn't, the hands were raised after public comment was closed, or hearing.
So it's, unfortunately, it's already closed.
Okay, so I just wanted to acknowledge the 3 hands on Zoom. The public hearing,
Was-
4 hands raised. Okay,
And those did come after.
the public hearing was closed, yes. I don't even know if we can hear them, to be honest, if we even allowed them to speak on Zoom.
Leah, can you hear me?
Sounds like Josh is trying to speak and we can't hear Josh either, so.
For those in the audience that Josh was speaking of is a city attorney who's online and we're not able to make contact. As you can tell, we're having ongoing technical difficulties, which is getting to be a tradition, a sad tradition, unfortunately. Hopefully you can hear us in the audience tonight. We had that as a problem in the past, and I know in particular me, because my voice isn't very loud, but hopefully you've been able to hear us at least. So we're making progress, but still having more, unfortunately.
Is there any other questions? Is there someone that wants to make a motion on this item?
I'll motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to accept 2407 with the exempt per section 1532 infill development project. Adopt resolution 2417.
I'll second that.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Commissioner Del Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Catchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Condit,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson, and Chairperson Otero.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, possibly 5-0.
Just for the record, we did not hear Commissioner Condit's vote this time for some reason, so I'm not sure we can count it, but it was still 4-0.
Okay, moving on to new business, there is none. Public meetings, none. Unfinished business, none. Matters initiated by Planning Commission and staff, none. The Planning Commission is now adjourned to the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board. Can you please call the roll?
Yes, Board Member Condit. He's here. Board Member Del Nero,
Present.
Board Member Johnson, Board Member Catchell,
Here.
and Chairperson Otero.
Here. Seeing, is there any conflict of interest? No. New business, item number 6, Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board Annual Report. Julian Aguirre, will you please present the annual report?
Good evening, Planning Commission and Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board members. My name is Julian Aguirre, the Redevelopment Economic Development Manager for the City of Ceres. This evening, the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Board is here to consider and recommend the CDRAP annual budget for fiscal year 24-25 to the City Council. Item before you this evening, request to consider assessing a levy on all businesses located in the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area for fiscal year 2024-25. If the CDRAP annual budget is recommended to City Council by the Planning Commission, a public hearing will be held in a future City Council meeting on September 9th to approve the CDRAP budget for fiscal year 24-25 and the assessment. The history on the CDRAP Ceres Downtown Revitalization was formed in 1989 by downtown business owners themselves as part of the Parking Business Improvement District. Its purpose to generate revenue to assist in maintenance, upkeep, and revitalization efforts of the downtown area. Since the area's organization and assessment has been levied annually by the City Council on all businesses in the boundaries of the Ceres Downtown Revitalization shown in Exhibit A. Funds raised from the annual assessment are restricted to be used to pay for projects and activities that promote and positively contribute to the enhancement of the Ceres Downtown District. Please note the proposed levy has not changed since adoption in 1989. Generally, the assessment is $20 to $25 per month from all businesses based on gross receipts. This fiscal year, we expect to raise approximately $8,300 for direct district activities as identified in the annual report Exhibit D. These funds include the budget reserve funds that will help pay for electricity for lighting and landscaping for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Note that staff is not proposing any increase in annual assessments for this fiscal year. This evening, we are recommending the Planning Commission and the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board to consider the annual budget for 2024-25 and recommend to City Council staff recommendation to adopt proposed resolution which will establish and assess a levy on all businesses within the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area for fiscal year 2024-25. Projected revenue assessment levies is targeted at 8,300. Expenditures would be approximately 26,281, resulting in a 17,981 deficit that would come from the existing CDRAP reserve. The reserve balance will be approximately 44,592 at the end of June 30th, 2024. The estimated revenue of assessments can be between 10,000 to 15,000 per year when all businesses are occupied and thriving. I would like to note that the annual assessments collected have varied over the years and is based on active downtown businesses in the bid. Our goal is to continue to collect assessments and increase our stated revenue. Economic Development is working with businesses to be in compliance with monthly assessments by holding quarterly meetings, with our first meeting to be held this Thursday, August 22nd at 5:30 p.m. We thank you for your time.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the board?
Gonna have to do something.
Is there anyone in the chambers that would like to come to the podium? Anyone on? Yes.
Hi, Irene Ortiz with the Chamber of Commerce. How does this affect our nonprofits that are in the downtown area?
So at this time, it does not affect nonprofits. The goal is to have a conversation with nonprofits. We have several nonprofits that are in the downtown. We are looking into what we can do to partnership with them so that they can actually be part of that assessment, but they are not required to be in that assessment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone on Zoom?
I see no hands raised at this time.
Did we get any emails?
No, we did not.
Okay. The public hearing is now closed. I'll bring it back to the board for consideration and motion.
I'll make a motion that we adopt Planning Commission Resolution 24-01 CDRAB, accepting the annual report of the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board. That's a mouthful. For the fiscal year 2024-25, and recommend that the City Council approve the report and set a public hearing to consider a levy of the proposed assessment for fiscal year 24.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, Board Member Catchell,
Aye.
Board Member Johnson, Board Member Condit,
Yes.
Board Member Del Nero,
Aye.
and Chairperson Otero.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0 with an inability to hear Board Member Condit.
Now we'll reconvene as the Planning Commission. Are there any reports from the commission? City staff?
I just want to apologize to those on Zoom, you, our commission, the public. We thought we worked out the bugs. We actually were able to get the video working, and now we didn't have the sound working again. So we'll get it right, hopefully, for our next meeting. And I did want to ask if the commission was opposed to not receiving paper packets, just by, I guess, a vote. Are those interested in getting the paper packet or not? We're considering not printing everything, but if you all still want to print and packet, but I wanted to ask the question. I know you don't have an iPad, city issued iPad where you can look at the event, but if you, yeah. And if you still want it, it's okay, but I do want to ask, given they're squeezing pennies on our paper. Okay,
I do go by this.
okay, that's fine.
Get it and go out not every time, but go out and look at the site. So.
Okay,
I don't have a computer at home. I just do everything on the phone, so I would appreciate getting the paper.
okay. Same? Okay, no worries. We wanted to ask the question. And that is all. Again, our apologies and thank you for working through it with us.
Thank you. Okay, the next regularly scheduled meeting, Planning Commission meeting will be held on Monday, September 2nd, 2024. Just really quick, is that Labor Day, right? The 22nd?
I'm sorry, we have to notice it as that, but we will cancel it. And I don't
it.
think we're going to have one on Tuesday night. I think the next one will be middle of September.
Okay. The meeting is now adjourned. Thank you.